In fact, landed right behind us. But anyway, sorry, back to that the leopard, and we've seen the most amazing things. I remember once going through the forum, and there's a video that somebody has shot of. I think it was a hyena coming in to drink and walking around the back end of the pan facing the lodge. And there was a lioness obviously sleeping, lying down there. And I didn't know, I thought it was a clip of a hyena. As I was watching this hyena approaching the water, next minute this lioness jumps out and chases this hyena completely out of shot and what have you. So I must say, very exciting, and to you guys out there, the community that have really, kind of empowered us, I suppose. I mean, we've seen some absolutely fascinating stuff. But moving on to John. Hello. John is our mad IT man.
It takes one to recognize
that. John, on a serious note, I mean, obviously, myself personally, I'm absolutely invested and grateful to you for the amount of work and time and effort and, the amount of hours. I think very, very few people out there in the world realize the amount of time and effort it actually takes and skill that it takes to actually deliver something like this. And John is one of those individuals that have shown absolute commitment, and we wouldn't be here today, anywhere near where we are here today, if it wasn't for John. So just on behalf of the community and myself, thank you very much.
Thanks for the kind words.
John, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with Africam, and what were you doing beforehand before I hunted you down?
Well, like many, I guess, South Africans, I was looking at greener pastures, looking to get across to Europe. I sold my business, I packed my bags and got myself sorted out, and I got this strange request from somebody called Campbell, who was a wildlife enthusiast. So it's another one of these guys who wants his iPhone or iPod fixed or something like what that might be. But further investigation, after 5 minutes worth of chat, I realized that this was a little bit more serious than I first had envisaged. So really, I think what I said to Cam was, let me have a look and see what you got. I was aware of Africam from my previous days as in the internet, being an internet pioneer, I guess, in South Africa. So Africam was very much up there, and it sounded like an exciting opportunity to get involved in. I said to Campbell, let me come in for about a month or so and give you a report. How long ago was that? That was approximately about a year and a half ago. I think it was a long report. Anyway, from there, I saw that there was definitely a possibility of growing the business, or at least revitalizing the business. There have been previous shareholders who have been involved, and they've had a great time, but Africam needed to go to the next step, and it needed new technology, it needed new platforms. But the most exciting of all was Campbell, I think it was Campbell, had stumbled across some people in Canada who offered us the opportunity to do some streaming media. And that's what really focused my attention. I thought, well, this is something I can seriously get my teeth into for about 3 months. So I think really the challenges that involved in, particularly from South Africa, given the infrastructure and the cost of the infrastructure, it was a fairly daunting task for us. But I think, with the help of everybody out there and the Africam team, and in particular Nkorho, we managed to put something together here. We're now going through some major upgrades. That's really a good sign. It means that we've stabilized, more or less stabilized the infrastructure we've got in place, and we now feel confident that we've got a good base for growth. And I could just say, thanks for the kind words, first of all, and I think just thanks for the support from everybody out there.
John, just a couple of questions that people keep asking me. One of the questions is how do we get from where we're sitting here, which is bordering the Kruger National Park, we're about 500 kilometers by road from Johannesburg. We're at least 2.5, 3 hours from Nelspruit, which is a major city centre. We're really out in the sticks here. We're at the end of the road. We're at the end. In fact, Towers only came here about 5-6 years ago, and telephones, lines aren't here. We work on like a microwave type link. So we're really out in the middle of nowhere. But can you just give us a brief overview what is involved in actually getting the signal from where we are to the viewer out there in the world?
Sure. Well, we're probably dealing with about 3 or 4 different technologies that start off from here at Nkorho and terminate eventually in Los Angeles, well, terminate eventually in your living room. But in between there, we've got a couple of hoops that we jump through. The first hoop that we jump through is to get the signal from the waterhole that you see here up to the base camp. And that we use a wireless type link. And so that is just really a Wi-Fi type link, although it's not a digital link, it's actually an analog link. Although we're playing with some of the technology there and looking at some new ideas. From there we go to satellite, via satellite, which then get an uplink all the way to a place called Hartbeespoort, which is just outside Pretoria in South Africa. And we downlink there, and from there we cross the Atlantic Ocean via fiber optic cables. And that terminates us in New York. From New York we go across the normal internet backbone to a location in Los Angeles, and there we have a partner in crime, another fine fellow called Art Bacon, who runs a company called One Net Place. And what he does the distribution of signal for us. In other words, he runs the servers that you happy folk all log into every day and every night and watch your footage. So in a nutshell, that's really how we do it, Cam.
Okay, so, and we're on Art servers right now.
Yeah, these are Art servers, Art's infrastructure that he's got running. I believe at the moment he's actually in Las Vegas. But he is logged in and making sure it's all working.
We'll wait to ask. How are you? Yes. I think also just, obviously Elephant Plains camera, the well-awaited Elephant Plains camera.
Long-awaited, yeah.
Long-awaited, yes. We've taken a lot of heat, I think, because of this. But I think, what we're doing, there's a reason why there's not too many other people doing this, certainly on the African continent. The logistics is severe. But we've been waiting, more importantly, for an upgrade in our link, an upgrade in the local infrastructure provision. Do you want to just talk us through that?
Yeah,
what have we gone through to get this Elephant Plains?
Well, my previous lap, I helped put together the internet, so it's the first ISP or internet service products in South Africa. So hence I had an extremely close relationship with Telkom, the local telco, the one and only telco in South Africa. There's competition, but it's still very, very early days. So we are very much dependent on the incumbent, especially because we're out in a remote area. But what we'll be doing now is we'll be dropping the satellite, and we will be using microwave links, and that will backhaul us into Johannesburg. And then from Johannesburg we'll log into the fiber optic network, and basically through that process we'll reduce the lag time to get the signal from the waterhole here all the way to Los Angeles by about 600 milliseconds. At the moment it takes us about a second to get a bit of information from the waterhole here as we're sitting, to get that bit of information to Art's servers. We'll be reducing that time down to approximately about 350 milliseconds. So that in its own right is going to be a huge improvement. Secondly, what we'll be doing now gives us more capacity to be able to run more feeds. Each feed that we run takes approximately 300 kilobits per second. At the moment we're running on a 512 kilobits per second link. So we're effectively going to be doubling that, so that's going to allow us to now bring in a second camera, EP, which is about 12 k's that way, okay? Behind us, more or less, yeah.
Correct, yes.
So, and then we'll be able to bring that on stream. Now, to bring that one on stream, I have to be careful what I say on air here, given our local telecom regulations, right?
Yes.
Carson, not to worry. But what we've got is now a wireless network that actually uses Canadian technology, funnily enough, that will link us from the back end there and bring us to the control center at the top here. So we'll be bringing both feeds into the village at the top here, the base camp as well, and then from there we'll be going into the DC end. So first of all, we're going to see more content. Hopefully we're going to have a more reliable link, and we're going to have more value. So that's really what's happening at the moment in a nutshell.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks, Tom. I can hear some movement behind me, but before we get to that, talking about Canada, I just want to have a special thanks to Charlie and Kids of the Nest, Corinne. You guys over there, we really have appreciated your help. Our migration over from our live streaming partner and now developing a working relationship with you guys. We look forward to working with you in the future and developing both our products together. So a big heart to